Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Very polite audience, I could tell from
Yeah,
backstage.
we weren't hearing much of like oohing or booing or being excited, so hopefully that's going to change very soon.
Don't boo. That'll be awkward. Go ahead.
Maybe a whoa, wow. What's
Woo!
your?
Woo!
Let's get a woo.
Yeah. All right.
Amazing. So I'm definitely incredibly excited for this one. I just sent a message to a friend of mine this morning. 15 months ago, I sent him a LinkedIn message saying he's a founder in the US, and I told him, I see you're connected to this woman, Arlan Hamilton, and she's brilliant. Like, any chance you can introduce me? Is there anything that I could do to help her out? And, you know, today was a great day to be able to send him a message and say, there we go, I'm going to be sitting on the lovely, comfy couch with Arlan during Startup Grind.
Well, thank you for
so,
that.
I would love to start with you and your pinned tweet. If any of you are not following Arlan yet, I suggest that you change it quickly. But your pinned tweet says, "My name is Arlan. I'm a 37-year-old black woman from Texas, based in LA. 4 years ago, I was on food stamps. Today, I have built a venture capital fund from the ground up and have invested in 100 startup companies led by women, people of color, and LGBTQI founders." Now we get a woo for that. Woo!
Thank you. Yeah, that's my pinned tweet. That was a few months ago, so now I'm 38. Thank you. Thank you. And we've invested in 130 companies at this point. Yeah.
All right, amazing. So tell us a little bit more about that story of yours.
Yeah, so first of all, Twitter is Arlan was here, A-R-L-A-N was here. That's my handle. I love talking to people on there. Like I said, a few years ago, you know, everyone kind of goes through ups and downs, and I was going through a particularly down period for, I don't know, 12 years. And had no money, and was kind of observing from the outside what was going on in Silicon Valley from Texas, and I didn't know much about it, but I did see that it didn't seem to make sense to me that when I was reading these things or talking to founders that less than 10% of funding was going to everyone who was a white male. And I mean, I know several white men, and they're lovely. They really are lovely people. I would
Some of them.
Well, I mean, you know, broadly speaking, and I would suggest that you get to know one. You know, they're not doing so well these days. You might want to get to know them, bring them in, share your privilege with them. And they're fantastic humans in a lot of cases, but even they would say that doesn't make any common sense, right? And that's been the really wonderful thing in this journey, has been talking to so many white men who are like, it's right. That's not fair. We don't want that either. We don't want that to be such a disparity. And so for me, it was really about definitely a personal thing. It was personal because I'm gay, black, I'm a woman, and I've lived in this skin for my whole life, and proudly so. But to think that this packaging is going to stop people from understanding what I could do, what my potential is, and then that means that so many millions and millions of others are in the same boat, that didn't sit well with me. And the other side of it was that I was the kid playing Monopoly at 5 years old and begging people to play with me. That's just an amazing opportunity to back people who have been overlooked and underestimated, as we say, because it's just, you know, there's a wide open field, and there certainly was a few years ago when I started. So I set out to raise capital. You know, I think that's what most people would do if they're homeless, is go out and try to raise millions of dollars in venture funding. I've heard if I had a dime every time I heard that, I might have gotten the fund faster. But that's what I decided to do, because I thought, I can write about it, I can scream about it, I can tweet about it, but until I'm writing checks, even if they're small checks, no one is really going to listen to me, take me seriously, or take action the way that I'm asking them to. So I wanted to be a case study for those people. So we ended up spending a few years, and a few years later was able to scrape everything else my way to building a few $1 million. And we invested in, and now we're a huge team across 2 countries, and very excited to be here in London now as of this year.
That's amazing. I think really inspiring. So As you said, it's sort of normally a homeless person would go and probably, try and get a little bit of money for themselves. You went and raised a fund. Now, why was venture the direction you took? Why did you think that this is the way in which you're going to have the biggest impact?
It just seemed logical to me. It was like practical, because I knew I couldn't angel invest. I didn't have angel investing money. I wanted to, I would love to, but I didn't have it. So I thought I can become a venture capitalist, build enough personal wealth, and then angel invest. So I'm actually a venture capitalist with the aspiration of being an angel investor, which is what I'm starting to be now. And also because venture capital is this sliver of innovative capital. It's supposed to be, right? I spent those years not being able to raise, educating myself. And venture capital is supposed to be this sliver of capital where innovation is born and seeded. And you can literally go to the moon and beyond with venture capital. And to me, it's the perfect type of risk capital that is supposed to be put behind people, products, markets that have been overlooked by others in the past. So it again made no logical sense that it wasn't. And I said, well, I'll learn as much as I can about it. I also, frankly, was looking at the people who were already VCs, and I was like, I could do that. I mean, because, not to say, there are some remarkable people and some visionaries who are VCs. I've met them. But I think we're all capable of so much. And there's no place we are not allowed to go or shouldn't attempt if we really have that calling. And to me, this was a calling.
Amazing, thank you. So let's think a little bit more about the venture world or the investment world using some of the UK data. And some of you have heard this already twice or three times today, but I think it's still so bad that we need to repeat it and then we need to change it. So in this country alone, 89% of all funding goes to all male teams. 10% goes to mixed male-female, though often the woman is not the CEO. And only 1% goes to all female teams. Now, when we look at ethnic minorities or queer founders or founders with disabilities, it's not getting any prettier. It's only getting worse. So what advice would you give as a person who's investing? You're a commercial investor. It's not charity. It's investing for money, and you are making a point that investing in underestimated founders is the way to go. So what advice would you give to the investors in the room on changing that status quo?
Yeah, so in 60 seconds or so, I'm not going to change everyone's hearts and minds about this, right?
Well,
but I would
try.
Well, I know that I'm not, but what I can do is maybe just spark the curiosity in some people. So some people, even when I'm being introduced in most places, you'll see this mass exodus of people, and mostly investors. They're like, I don't want to sit through another diversity talk. I'm saying, don't look at this as HR or that thing over there or this charity that I have to sit through like I'm going to the dentist, or that I'm in trouble because I'm a white guy and I'm in trouble now. And look what I've done and all my people. Look at it more like, I know that there's a curiosity and a competition that is embedded in a lot of people in this room, and if you take the same time and energy to research and start looking at these numbers and kind of data mine. We hear these numbers a lot, and to me they're shocking. But if they're not really affecting you day to day, I'm just challenging. I'm calling you out and challenging you to start looking at those numbers and looking at it from a critical mind and saying, wait a minute, if so few dollars are going to certain people, wouldn't it stand to reason that if more dollars went to them, and they're already doing more with less, wouldn't it, start putting the pieces together? And if you don't like what you see, you can leave it alone and say that you've researched it. But don't come to me or anyone else and say, I don't like what I don't want to work on that, and I don't know any of the information. So I would say, I challenge you on that level. I know personally, that by challenging myself to step outside, everyone has bias and privilege, and stepping outside of my own, I am now seeing some of the results of those seeds that we planted, that I planted years ago, that my team has planted. Now we're starting to see these, $25,000 deals turning into $1 million deals, where people weren't paying attention, where I'd have to chase people down. Now it's people calling us. The tides are changing. There's only so many times we're going to say that to you directly until we take it all for our own. So you either get in with us now, buckle up and let's go, or we're just going to leave you behind in our dust. And that's just the way it is.
Amazing. So you're talking about these 25,000 deals that become $1 million deals. Let's talk a little bit about founders. You've been working with founders for years now, and that's where sort of trying to draw some advice and wisdom out of Arlan Hamilton. What would you recommend to the founders that you're meeting? How sort of these steps to success?
Oh, are there founders in the room?
Of course.
Hands, please. Yeah. Great. So founders, I light up when I talk about founders. They're my favorite part of this. And again, it's not something that I could kind of cover everything that I think about. But I think the main thing is like really thinking about your intention, thinking about why you're doing something. Don't sort of, my recommendation is not to get caught up in, I'm supposed to raise money because everybody else is, and if I don't, it may look poorly on me or reflect poorly on me or something like that. Be really intentional about why you're doing what you're doing, why you're raising, why you're asking people, because every time you make an ask of someone, you're giving away a little bit of yourself, a little bit of, and I know this, I ask people of things every day, so it's a little bit of your dignity, a little bit of that. How much of that are you willing to give up, and is the exchange worth that? So as much equity and ownership and kind of control of your own destiny as you can have as possible, keep that as long as you possibly can. And that may mean looking at things other than venture capital as a way to get started or to go as far as you can. My favorite stories are those from founders who said, I didn't raise venture capital, or I couldn't. That's even better. I couldn't raise venture capital. No one would take me seriously. And then they figured something clicked. They kept going. They knew they got back to the real of what they were doing and why they were doing it. And a few years later, that bootstrapping that seemed like a struggle turned into the blessing of a lifetime, because when they exited their company or when they had this revenue that was off the charts, they didn't have to share it with anyone. So I mean, repurpose some of this negative stuff that's happening to you right now, because if you're a founder, if you put your hand up, something negative has happened to you. I don't know any other type of founder. So repurpose that and own it, because it's yours. It's not someone else's headline does not dictate what you have to do in your life, right? And if you are a founder of color or a woman, or God help you both, yes. If you are that, you have, first of all, I see you, and I know, and I'll say it, shout it to the rooftops, and this is a great roof here. I'll shout it that you go through even more. You go through even more just to exist in your own body and in your own city and in your own country, and you have to live through that just to get out the door to then go run your company. And and I'm saying this so that the other people can hear me and recognize that. And all that woman wants to do is run her company. She doesn't want to be justifying her blackness, justifying her womanness, and run that company. She just wants to run that company. So you don't have to take their shit. You don't have to take it. It's already yours. You don't have to take it from someone else. If someone is treating you poorly, leave the situation. It's not worth it. I'm going to stop now because I'm going to keep going.
Amazing. Okay, so let's go to our last piece of advice. We know we have investors in the room, we have founders in the room. I know we also have people from scale-ups or corporates, for that matter. So what can bigger companies do to help accelerate the change for the underestimated groups?
Well, one of the things you can do, like practically and right now, is you can talk to me. I'm in the room, I'm here. You can talk to me, you can talk to others on my team. We're in London right now, and we are here with an accelerator, and we have 5 amazing companies that beat out hundreds. There were 1,900 applications, 24 total companies got in, and of those 5 are in London, and that's really remarkable that companies. So you can start by supporting what we're doing, And there's so many other organizations, funds, people, individuals who have been doing this work and laying this foundation for years and some for decades. And stop sending, if you are a manager or someone who controls the purse strings at your company, stop sending your lowest person on the rung to diversity events. Stop doing that. It's offensive, and it's silly, and it doesn't make any sense. You're going to miss out once more. So do that. Take it seriously. I'm going to come to your house and yell at you if you don't. Just take it seriously. Just really take it in, take it seriously. Wonder why we're so excited about this, why I've given personally my life to this. I'm an okay person, but it's not all like, heart and fuzzies, warm and fuzzies. It's lucrative, and it's going to make me rich, and it could make you rich too if you really paid attention, sat up in your chair, didn't glaze over. And I think that big companies have so much power. You have so many resources, so much power, and not just paying it forward or paying it across the aisle. Think about what you get from that, the energy, the new energy that you get from companies, and not just companies that look like, who the founders look like Mark Zuckerberg. He's adorable, but not every founder needs to look like that dude, right? And that's not the only measure of someone who's going to bring you returns. So it's about opening your eyes, have some fun with it. Big companies put on events, have musicians come in and draw in, invite people that you don't normally invite to your events. If you don't know how to do it, there's someone at your company who does. Ask them, then give them the capital to allow them to do the same thing that someone else in another organization would do on your team. So don't hire a diversity manager and then give them no budget and set them up for failure. Have fun with it. You only have a few more years on this earth. Sorry, it's a bummer, but it's true. You only have no matter who you are, there are only a finite amount of years on this earth. Live it. Like, this could be fun.
Amazing. And I couldn't agree more, and I'm very happy to say that not only me, but also my team and us at Google for Startups are really bought into everything that you're saying. Yes. So I'm very happy to say that now, will this work? Has this worked?
Well,
I don't know if it has worked. I'm very happy to say that Google for Startups is partnering with Backstage to empower or support you guys in putting on the accelerator in London, Detroit, Philadelphia, and LA together.
Yes, thank you, Google. I would like, thank you, Google. That's really cool. That's really cool.
And because of this, if Arlan wasn't enough amazing goodness, I'm very happy to invite a couple more people onto the stage. So please join me in inviting Andy Aim, who is the managing director of Backstage in London, and Louis Van Johi, who's the CEO of Tambua Health. Come on, guys. I'll move over.
Aww.
Awesome. Welcome. So tell us more about the accelerator in London and the amazing founders that you're supporting.
Sure. So first of all, just amazing to get almost 1,900 applications into this accelerator program that we ran for the first time across all 4 cities, which shows the real demand actually and the real need to provide this service to underestimated founders. And the London program specifically has been running for about 2.5 months. We're into our final leg now. One of our founders here, Louis from Tambua Health. And we've got a final event that we're planning for the final week of the accelerator called Stage Week, where we'd love to have some of you over. It's quite a big crowd here today, though, so I don't know if we can all fit in the room. But I'd love to touch on more about the founders within our cohort briefly, and then let Louis kind of introduce himself and what he does, because he's quite a good case study for this partnership we've got here now with Google. So we've got 5 startups in total. One's Afrocentrics that sell organic and vegan products for curly and kinky hair. We also have Geldem magazine, who are a digital publication that work on media content for the likes of The Guardian, Nike, Levi's, and all of their content is written by women of color and non-binary people of color. We also have Vitae London. I haven't got my watch on today, but they provide premium watches, similar to the Tom's model, where for each watch they sell, a kid in Africa gets educated based off the back of that. And finally, we have Trim It, which is a mobile barbering service, which you order a mobile barber on your phone, and they come to your location regardless of where you are, regardless if you're in the gym, in the office, or at home. And finally, we have Tambua Health. And I'll let Lewis touch on what he does.
Thank you. So yeah, my name is Lewis, and I'm the co-founder of Tambua Health. And Tambua Health is a medical technology software and services company. And we are revolutionizing the diagnosis and treatment of cardiopulmonary diseases. So think about asthma, pneumonia, and some heart disease as well. So we are using lung sound analysis and heart sound analysis. So think about how Shazam analyzes sound, but replicating that in lung sounds and heart sounds, because you can use that method for accurately screening for respiratory diseases. So we work with Google and use a lot of Google technologies. So this partnership solidifies the kind of bringing in the fact that you can have underrepresented communities working in deep tech, and Google and Backstage really show that investing in Black or underrepresented individuals is really has a really big impact. So we are currently fundraising, and if you guys are interested in what we are doing, glad to talk. Thank you.
Can we please have all the investors in the room raise their hand?
Investors?
Don't be shy. All the investors in the room.
There's audience. 2 investors? I don't believe you.
Nah.
Thank you for raising your hand. There's 2. Okay. All right.
All right, fantastic. So yes, thank you so much, Luis. Thank you, Andy. Can you tell us again, when is the event and what can we do to support it?
Stage Week is going to be, I think, 26th or 27th of June. We haven't decided on the date completely yet, but we're going to be blasting a lot on social media, so follow us and you'll see it. And yeah, the whole ecosystem is invited.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Arlan, for all the inspiration. And again, whoever you, take out your wallets, think about everything that Arlan said.
I mean, I don't know, keep your wallets on you. Mentally take out your wallet. Yeah.
Fantastic. Really looking forward to working with you guys.
Yeah,
Congrats
thanks
on
so much.
all
Really
the great work that
appreciate
you're
it
doing.
from Google.
All
Thank
right.
you, Google.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you.